Strap on your life jacket and get set to get wet on the water. G'day and welcome to On the Water for another exciting series. We are going to rock your boat this year with some of the sensational aspects of boating and waterborne activities that you love and the ones you know nothing about. We are at the magnificent Gold Coast to have a look at the Australian Offshore Powerboat Championships and the final round for this series. It started on Friday night with a huge party put on by Steve Searle. It saw a huge fireworks display with entertainment by Normie Rowe.
From the dock end of the street.
With me today we have Dave Bishop, commentator to the stars and knowledgeable of all things powerboating. Bishop, welcome to On the Water.
Thanks, Caveman. Pleasure to be here. The Gold Coast, magnificent conditions, and this is going to be a sensational round 6 of the Acme Fiberglass Australian Offshore Powerboat Championships. Plenty of pride on the line here this weekend. We've got the big boats. The conditions are pretty smooth out there, so we're going to see some massive speeds well up into the 230 kilometre an hour mark.
Now these guys, mate, they trying to get the throttle right, trying to get the pilotage right. It takes a lot of skill. It's not just about going fast.
Absolutely, mate, and we're going to have a look at a boat a bit later on and go through a little bit of that, but certainly two people have to drive these boats. We've got one guy on the throttles, one guy doing the steering, and the throttle man doing the trim as well. So they're pretty complicated deals, and these guys do a great job racing very, very fast.
Well, we're watching the Class 1 boats going at the moment, and we had a chat to a few of the teams throughout the course of this weekend. Peter Jack, Grumpy Mongrel Production Class, mate, welcome to On the Water.
Thank you. Good.
Now, look, mate, on the start line, do you get a bit nervous when you're lined up in this little beauty up against the big boys, and how does that feel?
Yeah, it's interesting watching them come past. We tend to keep out of their way if we can, stay on the inside of the course or the outside, let them do their thing.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're pretty good. They watch out for us as well, so it's good.
Paul Gibbs, the Hog's Breath Class 3 4-litre machine. You have had a sensational season, unassailable lead to the championship.
Yeah, no, we've had a great season. We've won 5 races out of 5 in our class so far this season, better than we did last season. And we don't actually need to win tomorrow or even start to take the championship out. We're enough points ahead, but we want to win anyway.
Tony, you've been 31 years in this sport. How has it treated you?
Well, as I just said before, I haven't got any taller, I haven't got any shorter, I guess, over the last 2 years. It's been a wonderful sport. I've enjoyed every year. I've enjoyed all the people that are involved, all the friends you make, and the few you lose along the way.
Well, it has been an illustrious career. You started off with a 13-foot Haynes Hunter and an 85 horsepower on the end, and now you're driving a 43-foot twin engine with 980 horsepower an engine. It has been a meteoric rise.
Not exactly meteoric, but I worked out that a 13-foot 6 boat was not the way to go. If I was going to get shorter quicker, that was to stay in that boat. So they've just got to get bigger.
Well, I've been having a chat to a few blokes around the pits here, and everybody's got absolutely the best things to say about you, which is very amazing in a pit area, I might say. So it just goes to show your stature within the sport. We wish you luck tomorrow, and hope it all goes well.
Thank you, and it can just show you how misinformed some people can be.
Steve Searle from Acme Racing. Your brother Andrew and yourself tipped the boat over up in Newcastle. You both fared all right. How's the rebuilding process been?
Well, as you can see here, boat's back together, and Andrew, my brother, has spent endless nights on it getting it ready for really from Malulaba last weekend, and now we've got it ready for the Gold Coast. All ready to go. Different paint scheme, same engines, but a bit more determination, I think, to make amends for our little stuff up.
Now, you were in the lead at Newcastle when that happened, and I'll bet you're right out there to just really give it to them today.
Yeah, well, we might just see what pans out there. We want to see if we can break a couple of their boats today. They've had a pretty easy run since we got out of the deal, so we want to make it a bit expensive for them if we can.
I love the attitude, Steve. Thanks very much.
Our pleasure. See you out there.
Okay, here we are sitting in the cockpit of a typical Class 1 racing catamaran. This particular boat, Smorgon Steel, it's got a pair of 980 horsepower V8 engines in it. We're sitting here, we've got digital Motec dashboards here in front of us which give us all the engine readings. This is the throttle man's seat. He is actually operating the throttles in this particular boat. To your right hand here you have the throttles. They're hand throttles in these particular boats. Two there, one for each engine. He's driving the boat with these throttles all the time. When the boat leaps off a wave, he's pulling back on the throttles so as not to over rev the $100,000 plus engines in this particular boat. The other things that the driver has to do, or the throttle man has to do, is trim on this side. This trims the drives in and out and makes the nose of the boat either sit up or sit down depending on the conditions that they want to do. The other things that he's monitoring is all the gauges here, which is the Motec, engine temps, oil temps, pressures, the whole lot. He has a couple of other safety items here. Basically he has a air regulator there, which he puts in his mouth in the event of the boat turning over, going upside down. The cockpit fills with water, puts this in his mouth. He's got half an hour's air supply there. He also has a manual air supply down here that you may or may not be able to see, but that's just a little bottle that he can put in his mouth, a temporary air supply, so he can get out either this hatch that we're looking through here now, or there is a hatch in the floor of the boat as well where both guys can exit if the boat is upside down. So that's the throttle man's side of this particular cockpit in the Class 1 race boat. Okay, we're now on the driver's side, or the pilot's side, of this particular Class 1 catamaran. Obviously, right in front of us, the steering wheel. Steers it as you would a normal boat, and that is the driver's task, is to do strategy around other boats, to watch out for waves and to keep an eye on the course. It's his job to navigate around the course and to find all the turn buoys. Of course, such long courses in offshore powerboat racing that the GPS is used to find the points where they need to turn. You can't actually physically see them with the naked eye, so it's the driver's responsibility to be watching the GPS, which is here in front of us, and navigate around the course. Other things that he does, you can maybe see here, he's got some tape stuck to the dashboard there. That's the amount of laps that the guys do. So pretty simple system, can't go wrong. You do a lap, you rip the bit of tape off the dashboard. He also has an air supply. He's also in the same type of seat that the throttle man's in. We've also got fire extinguishers here. He is also monitoring gauges. He has water pressure, he has the bilge, he has the fuel pumps, and he also has a set of trim buttons over here as well. A couple of other interesting things in this boat are your engine fuel cut-offs and your battery cut-offs here. In case of an emergency, you can cut the fuel or you can cut the batteries. This particular cockpit is built to a specific design for offshore powerboat racing and is very, very strong. It can withstand a bird strike at around about 1,000 kilometres an hour. So very, very strong indeed. The boat also has, interestingly, a reversing camera with a display on the dash here, so they can actually see out the back of the boat. And this is what the pilot does in an offshore Class 1 powerboat.
Here we have Jason Ryder, throttle man of the Class 3 6-litre boat, Red Australia. Jason, what a boat and what a lot of fun it is out there.
We certainly try to have a lot of fun out there, that's for sure. We go out there and mix it with the big boys in our little 6-litre boat, but we certainly have good fun.
We had a look at the trim inside the cabin there. If you're not trimming it right, what's happening?
Well, if it's not trimmed right, the boat actually doesn't get its lift off the water, and therefore it won't go as quick as it could do. And alternatively, the bad side of that is if it's over trim. Of course, you've all seen it on the shows overseas where they can actually do the backflip. And a couple of our members, one of our members in particular, has done that himself and lived to tell about it.
And yeah, I don't reckon it'll be all that much fun, Jason. One other question, can I have a go?
Of course you can have a go. Jump in, we'll go for a run.
No worries at all, thank you.
Okay.
Stylish in
160 kilometres an hour. Now, I'll tell you, if you don't reckon that's fun, there is something definitely wrong. I'd like to thank Jason Ryder and Red Australia for having a crack. We'll be back with some more flat-out offshore powerboat racing a bit